Welcome to Growth Gatherings. Here we share the stories of leaders who are evolving the business landscape in Pakistan and beyond. Our guest today, Shamim Rajani. She's the Chief Operating Officer at GeneTech Solutions. She's been running a successful software house for over 2 decades. She's also the founder of Code Girls, supporting over 2,000 women from underprivileged background, train them and support them in IT skills so they can earn their livelihood. Welcome to Growth Gatherings.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You didn't set out to be a tech entrepreneur. So, how did you fall in love with tech and coding?
So that's a very interesting question because a lot of the people ask me this question. I was set out to be a genetic engineer,
Okay.
uh, but fate had it that I didn't get an opportunity to get into that. And then when I did get an opportunity, that was a diploma in computer science, and I just grabbed onto that opportunity because I wanted to do something. When I started doing my diploma in computer science, I just fell in love with coding, and I knew that I could code. So then, once I completed that, I just tried my luck at freelancing and did a couple of projects. Those worked out really well. I started getting client retention. Then I started a company. So that's how I think that's how I got into the whole thing.
And this was about 20 years ago?
This is around 2004.
2004.
Yeah.
I remember at that time people were talking about software and technology, but not the way people are talking about it right now,
Yeah.
right? I think I'm curious about your journey,
Mhm.
starting as a freelancer and now playing a big role, a very influential role in Pakistan's tech industry and running a very successful software house providing services to clients internationally. Walk us through your journey.
That's a loaded question, but I'll start from how I developed an interest.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I wanted to be a genetic engineer, couldn't do that. So the next best option was this. My brother was one of the first engineers from the family. He was in Michigan, and I used to visit him a lot. And I got bored, and he used to say, "Okay, if you're getting bored, take my Microsoft login and go study something." And I just picked up courses and I studied those, and that sort of like sparked an interest, a lot more interest into development and coding and all of that. Then in 2004, I started a software house. Not a software house. I actually started freelancing in 2004. Did a couple of projects, and then incidentally, I did some good work. So I got 4 or 5 regular customers. And then in 2006, there was so much work that I had to hire a team of 4 or 5 people. And I think 2006 we decided to actually go out formally and officially and get a company and register it with SCCP, and that's how GeneTech Solutions was born. Fast forward from 2006 till 2016, we did a lot of work internationally. With the US, I had visits. My brother was there. He supported me as well. He wasn't my partner back then. He just supported me because he was working at IBM Minnesota, and he was their cybersecurity expert and their SME. 2016-17, I think we had a team of 25, 30 people, and we had some good traction, and that's when he told me you should now grow because you're in that growth phase now. Start growing. And I said, look, my kids are young. I don't have the time to actually grow. If you partner with me, then maybe we can take it all out. And he actually was looking for an opening like that because he wanted to come back to Pakistan, give his kids a few years in Pakistan, get to know their roots as well. So this was a good opportunity for him. So he left his job and he came to Pakistan, and then we grew the company. So Alhamdulillah, now we're 110 people. We have locations in Karachi, Jamshoro, Skardu, and we have people scattered working with us from Berlin, US, Bahrain as well. So that's how the company actually grew. But what also helped me is there was this program. So till 2016, I thought that working from behind the desk was more than enough. There was no need for networking or meeting people. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay for myself. But in 2016 or 2017, I'm not exactly sure, I joined a program by the World Bank for entrepreneurship, women's entrepreneurship. Um, I don't remember the name. It was a 1-year program. It was a diploma in women entrepreneurship, and we did it at IBA. I think that sort of like changed the way I thought about the business, about myself, the confidence in myself, the aura that I brought. I had no idea till then. And then I started participating and networking with people locally as well as internationally. That's when I got also active at the Pakistan Software House Association, Pasha, and started looking at what they were doing, what people like me were doing there. Men, there weren't very many women then, but what men were doing. And I think that also helped a lot. And that's where I learned networking. And now I think my partners have to stop me to, if there's a conference, if there's a podcast, if there's an international delegation going, I'm the one who's like at the forefront and being there, because that actually helps. That helps build the relationship with my customer. So I think that in a nutshell is a small
Yeah.
journey.
So starting small,
Mm-hmm.
delivering well,
Yeah,
and then expanding.
yeah,
And I know you have clients internationally. How easy has it been for you to acquire those customers? Because your back office is in Pakistan, Karachi,
yeah,
and other parts of Pakistan. How, number one time zone, serving those clients and continue to retain them.
yeah.
What is the secret sauce here?
I think the secret sauce is the transparency
Mm,
and communication. Our
mm,
client communication is very prompt.
mm,
We try to be very honest and transparent with the customers. Look, it's not always going to be, full bloom. There's
mm,
going to be hurdles, there's going to be bottlenecks,
mm,
and telling the client, oh no, everything's fine, it's just not right.
mm,
You keep the client on board, you let
mm,
them know how it's going, and I think that builds the trust. And
mm.
then obviously also
Yeah.
delivering to client expectations. You're my
Mm,
customer, you came back,
mm,
right, because we delivered,
mm,
right? So I think client retention happened through delivery and also being there. To be there does not mean that we need to be present in their work hours. It
mm.
never meant that. It just meant to be there in case there was a fire, to be able to put out that fire. For them to have the confidence, I'm going to pick up the phone and call Shamim or somebody from the team, and they're going to respond.
And I can vouch for that. I think the quality of customer service or communication, but also I would say what I experienced is in terms of the pricing and the overall structuring. And I do know that you were recommended very highly by someone in the US when we started working together. And I think his words were around, the professionalism
Yeah.
that comes out. You had played a significant role in the Pakistani tech society. So you mentioned Pasha and few others, and it is predominantly a men's world out there. Actually, not just in Pakistan, but
Yeah, globally.
globally.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of there are quite a few initiatives supporting women to enter into the tech area.
yeah.
So tell us your voice. Were you heard, and how did you make noise? How did you influence the agenda?
And maneuver.
Or maneuver the agenda or navigated the situation there.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Um, so what I've learned through my journey is that there will be men who will boss you,
Hmm.
and there will be men who will be your allies.
Hmm.
And I was lucky to actually find my tribe
Hmm.
in men who are allies.
Hmm.
And so wherever I went, I found bossy men, and then I found a couple of them who were actually there to support. And I think without that support, it is a man's world.
Hmm.
So it's hard to maneuver through
Hmm.
that. So I think that helped. When I started doing, going into these boardrooms in 2017 and 18,
Hmm.
I was very naive
Hmm.
about the politics inside boardrooms.
Hmm.
There was this one set of instruction or guideline that one mentor gave to me, is that, you have 2 years in this boardroom. For the first year, be a sponge, just absorb
Hmm.
and learn about, how politics happens in these boardrooms, learn about the people around you,
Hmm.
and second year, play. And that's what I did. And I think, yes, I had some bad experiences. Not bad, challenging. I don't think things are bad. Things are there to challenge you. I
Yes.
call them challenging experiences that made me that where I made mistakes and then I learned from those mistakes. But then that also made me identify good from bad.
Hmm.
Right. So and then I found my tribe and very happy with my tribe right now. So I think that's how you maneuver. You don't just go head on and day one. You take your time. That's what I learned. I took my time. I understood the ecosystem and then I started making allies and challenging people, and then so now people know me as somebody who is headstrong, honest, and if I'm in a boardroom, they know that if something happens, I'm going to be quiet, and then at the end of the day, I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to do this, regardless of whoever you are, right? And if it's a veto, then it's a veto.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so I'm not very welcome in a lot of boardrooms, but
Because
I
you have
think I
a
like,
view.
yeah, I think I like that because I want to be, I want to add value wherever I go, right? That's important. I mean, just being there for being there, I don't think that's me.
Mm. No, I think it's very important, and a lot of women are working. In fact, there is a ceiling they hit because a lot of them don't get through to boardrooms or C-suite roles. And one of the reason is that it's like balancing, right? You've got to challenge, but at the same time, you can't just take things head on.
Yeah,
At the same time, you can't be just so soft
yeah,
that people will walk over you. So I think
absolutely.
that's the balance, which is important for everyone, but I think for women it's super important, and women coming from this part of the world where we are expected to perform in a certain way. Things are changing, but when you were growing up and when I was growing up, it was different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone getting into AI tech space, what advice would you give them? And I'm going to ask two groups of people. The
Okay.
advice for
Two
two,
groups of
two groups
people.
of people: students and then
Professionals,
executives,
executives. Yeah.
professionals.
Okay. No, that's an amazing. I was waiting for you to tell me what audience is this for. So students, I would say, especially students from computer science background
Hmm.
who are going to get into tech, I would say that they need to adopt or adapt to AI early on, because right now, where I see the market, where the market is today, and then 2 years from now it might change. But where the market is today, my company, for example, is hiring seniors
Hmm.
who have a lot of experience,
Hmm.
not in AI, just a lot of experience in tech, and then juniors, fresh grads who have ample AI exposure,
Hmm.
and we are basically pairing them up.
Hmm.
So what happens is these guys bring the juniors bring the AI, knowledge,
Hmm.
and the seniors have the experience. So the products that we build, because every product that you build today has to have an AI flavor
Yeah,
to it,
element.
right? So so my advice to students would be to get AI flavors, understand, start learning AI early on. That doesn't mean leave everything and do a degree in AI. There is no such thing as a degree in AI.
So
Everything
I was
that
going
you
to
do.
ask you, is there's no such thing as a degree in
No, you
AI?
shouldn't. See, everything today
Huh?
needs AI. So
Huh?
whether it's somebody in media,
Hmm.
somebody in consulting, somebody in healthcare, somebody in edtech, everybody needs to be AI savvy,
Hmm.
right? So I'm not, when I say be AI savvy, I don't mean get a degree in AI. I mean whatever you are doing, see how you can use AI
Hmm.
to improve productivity and efficiency on
But
that.
okay, help me decode AI. What is AI?
So AI is basically a lot of data
Hmm.
and the machine learning from that data
Hmm.
to help you get speed up things. So
Hmm.
for example, let me say, for example, if I am using chat GPT today and I met you today and we took a picture, I'd go back, I'd upload that picture to chat GPT, and this is exactly the prompt that I would write, and I write my own prompts. Till date I have never copied a prompt. I write my own prompts. It has to be very NLP, natural language, that I do. I tell him, okay, what, I call my chat GPT Byte. He has a name, and it's a he, and he has a name. So I'll say, hey Byte, I met Fariha today. Here's her LinkedIn. This is the picture. This is what we talked about. So we talked. She asked me about my journey. You know my journey, and she asked me about GeneTech and chat and Code Girls, and so I want you to write a striking post for me on LinkedIn. Around this, and don't forget the CTA at the end. And this is what I tell. I tell him nothing else, and he'd give me. So Chat GPT would give me a. So where did that come from? Right? So it came. So did you see my last post about Skardu?
Yes, I did.
Chat GPT wrote that for me. I just gave Chat GPT an image, and I said, we're in Skardu, and write a good post around that. We're here for a job drive, and to get a cabin. That's 2 lines, and give me a good post. And ChatGPT basically picked up everything and it just wrote, because then it mentioned Code Girls, it mentioned GeneTech, it mentioned why we're there.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. Where did that come from? It's not human, right? But it reads.
So AI access the information that is already
Already
available
available
in the system
in
somewhere.
this.
And
Exactly.
so one has to have an eye. So you have to be creative
You have to ask the right questions.
and ask the right question. And for that, what do you need?
What do you mean? What do you need?
What skill do you need to ask the right
No,
question?
you have to. So if I have to give Chat GPT, for example, Byte, I would have given access initially when I started working with Byte or Chat GPT. I gave it access to, I told it, this is my LinkedIn, this is what I do. Initially, it wasn't that smart. It's like a new employee, right? They're not smart. You have to tell them stuff, right? And then eventually, when they learn, like I said, when my employees get old, I just look at them and I'll say, do you think this is right? And they would say, no, ma'am, I don't think this is right. Let me fix this. Where'd that come from? So Chat GPT is like that, and that's dangerous, right?
That's very
Because they
dangerous.
right,
Yeah.
right. But what happens is the only thing that's different between AI and humans is that AI will only learn from the data that's out there. So anything new they don't know. They can't be creative. They can reduce your job. I would have written a better post, but because of the data that's out there, and I'm like, you just have to spin my data, right? And just give me
Yes.
something. So it just did the spinning part and gave me that post, right? So there's 2 types of AIs, right? So there's more, but the ones that we mostly work with is generative, which is where you talk to them. There's Chat GPTs, and there's Grok, and there's DeepSeek, and Gemini that you talk to, and then they get work done. And then there's agentic, where you basically tell them to do stuff and they'll get it done. So for example, and that's where I was coming to when we said we talk about executives or professionals, how they can, what I would recommend and what we do at our company as well, where we brought up our productivity by 1/4 through AI, or more in some departments, a little less in other departments. A department wise is that we use agentic to get a lot of work done that is redundant, or a lot of stuff that we call it. There's this term where I just forgot, but a
Anything
lot
which
of
is repetitive.
repetitive, redundant, and just like building forms, and something that any junior or any mid-level would be able to do. Doesn't need a senior's eye or being creative and being logical, right? So that part we get. So I think for executives or professionals or entrepreneurs who'd like to use AI, this is the part. Use AI to improve your productivity. We didn't this year, every year we sort of like grow our team. We didn't reduce our team. Not, I'm not going there that we reduce, but what we did is we challenged our team, telling them, okay, you have 2025, 1 year, to make sure everybody in each department takes the 1/4 of the workload to AI, so that I can retain you, because AI is there to do that part. I mean, if you want to do simple work or redundant work or just reading through and then summarizing it, AI can do it for you. You don't have to do it yourself, right? So that we did department wise. By the end of 2025, we're still the same team size, with revenue increased, with profit margins increased, because we didn't grow the team. As a service company, your biggest value or your biggest cost factor is your human resource, and we didn't grow that. We kept the same team, but they became AI savvy. So that would be my recommendation or my advice to entrepreneurs, to see to look into their company, maybe hire consultants, AI consultants, to tell them, okay, this is your day-to-day thing. This is where you can actually plug in AI and reduce this so that your bottom line gets
Is
better.
profitable. So basically, an advice, whether you're a student or you're an executive or an entrepreneur, just think how can you apply AI to be
Yes.
more efficient, more profitable, and also the world is moving there. So
Yeah.
it's quite important that you're not using old technology and old ways of working. And I've been in HR for 25 years. I can tell you, there's always room for improvement. And
So I'll give you an example for
huh,
HR only.
huh,
Right? You said HR. So what we did is we have an HR department.
hmm,
Whenever we put out jobs, we'd get hundreds of
huh,
CVs. Right now, what happens is we don't get hundreds of CVs. We do get hundreds of CVs, but it filters through AI first. It matches it with the job description,
hmm,
and obviously it's not machine. It's not like okay exactly matching. There's these flavors, So
hmm,
it will skim through the resume. It'll read the underlying meaning,
hmm.
and then it'll basically bring back to us the number of resumes that actually are close
Hmm.
or favorable to
Hmm.
what the job is asking
Hmm.
for.
Hmm.
And then so the HR's job is actually
Hmm.
cut down. So if I have a team of 3 HR, I can bring it down to 2 because now the sifting is not
You don't
needed.
need a processor.
Yeah.
What are the new, from an academic perspective, new degrees or new subjects in technology, in AI? Because we also know that AI can write the code given the proper
Yeah.
prompt. Or so, what are the new or evolving subjects in academia?
So there's no like I said, AI has different areas. Like people mostly focus on generative and agentic AI,
Hmm.
but in terms of so you won't call it subjects, you would call it tools. So there are different tools to generate code. There's Replit, there's Copilot,
Hmm.
there's others, right? So whatever works for your organization, you need to figure that out. You can also work with multiple tools.
Hmm.
So in our company, officially we work on Copilot,
Hmm.
but we have given the team the freedom to try out others, but standard is this. So this standard, these things need to be followed. For example, one of the very important things that we make sure that the team follows is customers intellectual property,
Exactly.
right? IP. So making sure that you're not exposing all the code to AI because and not making it public,
Hmm.
and taking care of all those things. So that way, when you have a system in place, you have standards and protocols in place, and then you give the team a standard tool. So even people from academia, they when they come to us, they've actually already learned these tools.
Hmm.
So when they come in, it's easy to plug them into the system and say,
Hmm.
hey, good. So we're going to. So that way, I think now academia is doing a better job. At
Hmm.
least tier 1 and tier 2 universities are doing a good job at that, where people coming out, or maybe it's just the students, they're just so interested that when they come in, they already have this
Hmm.
knowledge that it's easy to plug them into the system.
So I guess what I'm hearing, that learning, one is obviously you can study subjects which are in tech space at the moment and how they're evolving, but also learning to use those tools. And because the tools are, evolving.
Yeah,
So you've got to, we all have to learn, whether we are in our 20s, 30s, 40s,
yeah.
50s. You founded Code Girls. What is Code Girls?
Code Girls is my baby. Code Girls is a program where we focus on training girls in technology, girls who are 18 years old, at least intermediate, and looking to get a job in tech,
Hmm.
either because they weren't able to complete their college degree,
Hmm.
university degree, or they want to switch to tech, or they were in tech and they, for whatever reason, they had to take a break from work.
Hmm.
They want to come back to
Hmm.
work. So that it's for those girls. And what we do is we train them in trending technology stacks and
Sorry,
help
Shamim, there's a age range, or they have to be just 18 years? So
18 and onwards.
18 onwards. So
18
no capping.
onwards. No capping. I mean, if you're 55, you can learn tech. I don't care. I'm happy to,
Okay.
but usually what we've had is till 40, 45
Okay.
people have come,
Hmm.
right? And then we teach them trending technologies. When I say trending technologies, these technology stacks are reviewed by us, by the industry, by our partners every 6 months. Something new comes up, we actually add to this, and we usually at a time we're usually doing 5 technology stacks, and then help place them in the ecosystem. My networking and my connection with the tech industry in Pakistan and abroad has helped a lot to not just fund this project, bring trainers to train on this project, and also have people hire from this project. So there's 3 areas: fund, train, hire, and the industry does all of that.
Okay. And what I like about it, it's like helping them how to fish, right?
Absolutely.
Rather than
Absolutely. So not just that the industry does that. Funders come from all over. So my biggest funder, when I started the program back in 2018, was Jaffer Family Foundation in partnership with UGI, and they were the ones who actually brought the idea, and they said, we want to train 100 girls like you. And I was like, okay. So, I mean, training is not what I did for a living. But I said, okay, yeah, this is a very, very noble cause. And we had a problem in our company. We couldn't keep our women ratio to 10%. And I was like, okay, yeah, there's a gap. There's definitely a gap where women want to see women teach, women want to see women role models, and they want a safe space where, they're not judged. So let's do this. So we started doing that. But what happened is eventually I was able to, me and then Faiza Yusuf was also part of the program. We were able to lure the industry into that. They kept asking questions, what are you guys doing? And, what we did is one of the best things about the program was that we didn't hire any trainers. We went to the industry and we said, hey, look, this is what we're doing, and we want girls to be hired from this program. So we want engineers from the industry to come and train these girls. Because when you train them, you're not going to tell them, ये किताब रखी हुई है, इसको पढ़ें, इसको खोलें और इसको याद कर लें. You're going to tell them, इसको साइड पे करें, ये ऐसे होता है काम. And that's exactly what they need. And so, one thing led to another, and, we started training, and then industry started getting involved. Then industry started asking for people to hire.
Because there's
And
a
that's
huge
how
demand.
we, in 2023, we won the Pasha Award for, Best CSR.
And it's a
Portugal's won the.
CSR initiative. That means they don't pay anything, or
They
there's a nominal
don't,
fee.
no, there's no fee. They have to pay a very, very normal registration fee. The funding comes from my own company, my family funds. Uh, like I said, Jaffer Family Foundation is the biggest funder. Then other funding, Contour, a lot of companies, tech companies also participating. I think you were also one of the sponsors. So a lot of the people are, individual sponsors as well as companies. We also won some grants along the way. So that's how the funding is coming.
And so far you've trained over 2,000 girls.
Almost, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's a great initiative and well done, because I believe this space, as we already discussed, right? There are very few girls or women in
Yeah.
tech space, but more importantly, I think for the country,
Yeah.
it's a skill that they carry with them. What are the opportunities in tech?
Pakistan has a very young population. So your average Pakistani is 23 years old, over 60%. I think, I don't remember the exact number, but over 60%. A lot of these kids are going into computer science as a subject of study because they want to get into tech, because to them today tech is the luring factor. And not just that, you can work from the office, you can work from home, you can work independent, you can live in Skardu and work with a company in Karachi or Islamabad, right?
Or
Globally, right? So I think that is a very, very big opportunity to tap on as an organization or as a company. There's a lot of work in tech. I mean, people are scared that, with the advent of AI, tech में काम कम हो जाएगा, coding कम हो जाएगी, like you were talking about vibe coding and all of that. तो ऐसा नहीं है. देखें, one of the things that I have always been a big I talk about it a lot, is that when evolution comes, the human race adapts.
Hmm.
Adapts and gets better. Do you know of any evolution that came and pushed the human race behind?
हाँ, नहीं.
Industrial era came,
It just gets better
internet
and better.
came, mobiles came,
हाँ.
we got better and better, right? So, I mean, this is scary, but it's so we as a company are actually seeing a lot of traction in terms of work coming in. But you have to be smart. You have to adapt. You can't be scared of it. So you have to adapt to it. And then when you adapt and you move and you agile and you like you pivot with agility, then you have to be first movers. So कहते हैं ना, trailblazers, very quickly get there before the other companies get there. So I think opportunity तो बहुत है because of the youth and because I mean पाकिस्तान में जो भी अभी हालात हैं and Pakistan has been through a turmoil for decades and
For
decades,
decades,
right?
yeah.
But we're still growing,
हाँ,
right?
and
We're
there's still opportunities.
You're still making money.
हाँ,
I'm still making. So there's a lot of potential, and that potential is because of the people of Pakistan, because of the youth of Pakistan. Sometimes I say, and people make fun of me, and we also joke about it, is that I say that the average Pakistani developer codes better than our neighbors, which is why they ask me, why do you charge so much? When we go to other companies or when you go to our neighbors, they don't charge that much. I was like, because we code better than them. And that's why we charge more than them.
There are opportunities there.
Absolutely.
Okay. Our last round is rapid fire round. I'll be asking questions and whatever comes to your mind. It's very popular
Yeah, I
amongst the
saw it and I
viewers.
was like, let me not read this.
Laptop or notebook?
Laptop.
Do you write?
I write, but I have a Kindle to write on.
No, the reason I'm asking, I'm struggling these days because we're always typing and then with scrolling and all.
So why I said laptop is that when I have an idea, laptop is the first thing I go to. I don't write
Acha.
it down on my notes because I want to sort of like first research it,
Okay, so
then
you
write
put
it.
it there.
That's why.
Okay. Tech role model.
Honestly, I guess the first tech role model was my brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my eldest brother. Like I said, he was an engineer. So yeah, maybe him.
Okay, if you weren't in tech,
Oprah Winfrey.
oh, that's nice. That's nice. You should do your podcast, maybe tech podcast, or I don't know, Oprah Winfrey.
No, from the background that she comes from and where she is today.
Hmm.
So if you read up on her, she's an amazing
I agree. I
role
think there's a
model.
great
Yeah.
journey there. One piece of advice for anyone starting out any business venture, because I know I reached out to you when I was starting my transition from corporate to business. What advice would you give them, men, women, anyone?
I think networking. I think do a survey first, vet your idea, and then find the right people who would guide you. So networking is very, because you'll find mentors from there, you'll find customers from there, and you'll find a team from there as well. So I think networking.
Yeah. And just be confident, be out there, People will either like you, don't like you, it doesn't matter, but
But you
find
have to
your
talk to
tribe.
people, right?
Yeah, you have to talk to people. And the last one, any book or resource you'd recommend to someone if they want to upskill their knowledge about AI?
Honestly, I think any book is not going to be able to keep up. I think just get yourself registered with vlogs or blogs of famous people who have actually built these platforms and follow them. That's it.
That's
So
it.
whether that's Twitter, whether that's on YouTube or LinkedIn, just follow them because they will share with you the piece of information. A book will bring 6 months into it. So there's no book to follow
So
there.
it's more relevant
It's
and
more
more.
because in tech, not just AI, even in tech, things change so rapidly that I saw a book in Liberty Books the other day. It was like Advent of AI, and I was like, "कितनी पुरानी है ये किताब?" Right? Because I mean, we start on a tool today. A week from now, another tool comes in. A week from now, something else will come in. So it's hard to tell you follow so and so. Just follow people who have actually built these platforms, Grok, Copilot, ChatGPT. Follow the leaders and just keep up with their Insta, keep up with their Twitter handles, keep up with their LinkedIn, and yeah.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure hosting you here. And thank you for joining, Shamim.
Thank you so much for having me.